Most people go through their day unaware that something in their routine is slowly harming their body. It's not loud or obvious. It's hidden in daily choices and common items that seem harmless. While the damage isn't felt immediately, it builds quietly, affecting energy, sleep, and long-term health. The scariest part is that this threat comes from something almost everyone uses every single day. But once the source is revealed, the solution becomes clear, and the body can begin to heal almost instantly. Each day, people unknowingly follow routines that gradually wear down their health. It begins with small choices: what they eat, how they move, what they consume mentally and emotionally. One of the most damaging habits is excessive consumption of processed foods loaded with sugars, refined oils, and artificial additives. These foods spike blood sugar, increase inflammation, and weaken internal organs over time. Pair this with a sedentary lifestyle, where hours are spent sitting without movement, and the damage multiplies. Muscles begin to weaken, circulation slows, and metabolism drops, creating a cycle of fatigue and sluggishness. On top of that, exposure to constant digital screens floods the brain with blue light, disrupting natural sleep patterns and raising stress hormones. Chronic stress, often fueled by overwork, digital overload, and lack of real rest, places constant pressure on the nervous system and immune function. Even the air people breathe indoors, filled with dust, chemicals, and poor ventilation, contributes to slow cellular damage. These habits become so normalized that their impact is rarely questioned. Yet over time, they silently contribute to fatigue, brain fog, hormonal imbalance, and accelerated aging. Without intervention, the body's natural resilience weakens, and health problems start to surface as seemingly random symptoms. Inside every home, there are hidden elements that silently undermine health day by day. These silent killers don't announce themselves with pain or immediate symptoms but work gradually, embedding themselves into routines. Household cleaning products, for example, often contain harsh chemicals like ammonia, formaldehyde, and phthalates. While they make surfaces sparkle, they release toxic fumes that enter the lungs and bloodstream, triggering respiratory issues, hormone disruption, and even long-term neurological effects. Synthetic air fresheners and scented candles emit volatile organic compounds, VOCs, that may smell pleasant but carry toxic particles that irritate the lungs and affect indoor air quality. Plastics used in food storage, especially when heated, release microparticles and hormone-disrupting chemicals like BPA, which quietly interfere with metabolism and reproductive health. Even the materials used in furniture, carpets, and paints can be sources of slow poisoning. Flame retardants and glues often release off gases for years, leading to what experts call sick building syndrome. People may experience headaches, fatigue, and mood swings without ever realizing their home is the cause. Water sources also play a role. Tap water may contain chlorine, heavy metals, or pharmaceutical residues, especially in areas with aging infrastructure. Showering and drinking from contaminated water over time accumulates toxins in the body, taxing the liver and kidneys. Then there are electromagnetic fields from Wi-Fi routers, cell phones, and other electronics that operate around the clock. Though the effects are subtle and still debated, emerging research suggests prolonged exposure may interfere with sleep, disrupt cellular communication, and increase oxidative stress. Together, these invisible factors create an environment that slowly drains vitality. People may never suspect that the very place where they sleep, eat, and raise their families is filled with forces that compromise their long-term health. Inflammation begins as a natural response designed to protect the body. When tissues are injured or infected, the immune system sends out white blood cells and chemical messengers to defend and repair. In the short term, this reaction is essential for healing. But when inflammation becomes chronic, it turns from a defense mechanism into a silent destroyer. Persistent exposure to environmental toxins, processed foods, poor sleep, chronic stress, and lack of movement triggers the immune system again and again, even when there's no real threat. The body remains in a state of low-level alert, continuously flooding tissues with inflammatory signals. This unending cycle slowly damages blood vessels, organs, and even brain cells. The gut, often the starting point of chronic inflammation, becomes vulnerable when its lining is compromised by artificial additives, sugar, alcohol, and antibiotics. Once this barrier weakens, unwanted particles leak into the bloodstream, a condition known as leaky gut. The immune system reacts to these intruders, sparking systemic inflammation that doesn't subside. Over time, this contributes to the development of insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, and cognitive decline. What makes chronic inflammation especially dangerous is its invisibility. There's often no pain, no redness, no obvious swelling. It simmers beneath the surface, exhausting internal systems and accelerating biological aging. Sleep becomes less restorative, energy dips, mental clarity fades, and weight gain becomes harder to reverse. Because these symptoms build so gradually, many people assume they're just part of getting older. In reality, they're signs that the body is inflamed and overloaded, struggling to return to balance. Without clear intervention, through lifestyle changes, detoxification, and targeted nutrition, the inflammation doesn't go away. It becomes the new normal, creating a breeding ground for chronic illness and robbing people of their vitality without warning. The most impactful change a person can make to begin reversing silent damage in the body is to eliminate processed sugar from their daily diet. While it may seem simple, this single adjustment can trigger profound shifts in overall health. Processed sugar, found in countless packaged foods, beverages, condiments, and even so-called healthy snacks, fuels chronic inflammation more than almost any other ingredient. It spikes blood sugar levels rapidly, forcing the pancreas to release a flood of insulin. Over time, this repeated cycle leads to insulin resistance, weight gain, and cellular stress. What makes sugar especially harmful is its hidden presence. Many people consume excessive amounts without realizing it, as sugar is often disguised on ingredient labels under names like dextrose, fructose, corn syrup, and maltodextrin. These forms of added sugar not only disrupt metabolic function but also contribute to the aging of tissues by promoting a process called glycation, which damages collagen and elastin. In the brain, high sugar intake impairs cognitive function, diminishes focus, and weakens memory. In the gut, it feeds harmful bacteria and yeast, leading to imbalances that further inflame the body. By removing processed sugar, the body begins to stabilize. Blood sugar levels even out, reducing the stress on insulin-producing cells. Energy becomes more consistent throughout the day, sleep improves, and mental clarity sharpens. Inflammation markers in the blood begin to drop, and the immune system becomes less reactive. For many, cravings also diminish after the initial withdrawal phase, making it easier to make healthier choices long-term. The skin appears clearer, digestion improves, and joint pain may lessen, all from eliminating one substance that has quietly compromised the body for years. This simple yet powerful change lays the foundation for deep, lasting healing and can be the first major step toward restoring vitality. Across the world, countless individuals have experienced remarkable transformations by making a single commitment to remove processed sugar from their lives. In just a few weeks, many have reported dramatic improvements in energy, mood, and physical health. Former sufferers of chronic fatigue found themselves waking up refreshed and staying alert throughout the day. Joint pain that lingered for years began to subside, allowing for more comfortable movement and exercise. Others noticed that their stubborn belly fat, which resisted all efforts in the past, started to melt away as their insulin levels stabilized and inflammation decreased. Mental clarity became one of the most unexpected but welcomed benefits. People who once struggled with forgetfulness or cloudy thinking began to think more clearly, focus better at work, and even recall memories with greater ease. One common theme was the improved sleep quality. By reducing sugar intake, individuals fell asleep faster, experienced fewer nighttime awakenings, and woke up feeling genuinely rested. Even mood swings and irritability lessened as hormonal balance was restored and blood sugar fluctuations became less extreme. Those living with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes saw particularly powerful changes. By eliminating added sugars and monitoring their intake of simple carbohydrates, they watched their blood glucose numbers drop into healthy ranges, some even reducing or eliminating their dependence on medication under medical supervision. Migraines and chronic headaches, often triggered by sugar-induced inflammation, became rare or disappeared entirely. For many, these improvements sparked a deeper interest in overall wellness. Once they experienced how one change could create a cascade of healing effects, they became more motivated to nourish their bodies with whole foods, move regularly, and reduce other sources of toxins or stress. These real stories prove that transformation doesn't require extreme diets or harsh regimens. Sometimes, the most powerful results come from removing what harms and allowing the body to return to balance naturally. Making lasting change begins with understanding that consistency, not perfection, is the key to success. To ensure the removal of harmful daily habits becomes permanent, one must approach the process with intention and structure. It starts with awareness, clearly identifying which behaviors or substances are contributing to inflammation and fatigue. Once those are recognized, gradual substitution is often more sustainable than abrupt elimination. Replacing processed snacks with whole fruits or swapping sugary drinks for infused water creates positive momentum without overwhelming the mind or body. Establishing daily rituals can reinforce these choices. Preparing meals at home, planning grocery lists, and keeping nourishing options easily accessible reduce the likelihood of falling back into old habits. Tracking progress, whether through journaling, digital apps, or weekly reflections, helps reinforce motivation by making improvements tangible. Celebrating small victories, like clearer skin, more energy, or fewer mood swings, also helps rewire the brain to associate health changes with reward, not restriction. Support is another powerful component. Sharing goals with friends, joining online wellness groups, or simply having accountability from a partner can dramatically increase long-term success. When setbacks occur, reframing them as learning opportunities instead of failures can prevent discouragement and keep motivation alive. Most importantly, linking the habit change to a larger purpose, such as playing actively with grandchildren, aging gracefully, or reducing reliance on medications, creates emotional resonance. This deep, personal reason becomes the fuel that sustains effort even when initial motivation fades. Over time, these small adjustments become second nature, turning what once felt like discipline into an automatic and enjoyable lifestyle. The truth is that many people continue living with chronic fatigue, brain fog, and unexplained health issues simply because they don't recognize the daily triggers harming them. But once those hidden dangers are brought into the light, change becomes not only possible, it becomes inevitable. Small shifts in daily habits can unlock major improvements in energy, clarity, and longevity. Those ready to take control of their health must act now by removing just one harmful element from their routine. It's a simple step with the potential to transform everything. The choice to feel better, live longer, and protect the body from silent damage starts today.